What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video, we got our first impressions review for the Diablo 4 beta. Like and subscribe for more amazing video gaming content. So first thing I just want to address is the first problem I faced, and you're going to notice it based on the gameplay, is the fact that I am using an ultra wide monitor, and during the beta there was no way to change the aspect ratio. So recording the gameplay, it recorded it in like a long aspect ratio, so it kind of looks weird, unfortunately. I imagine once we do have our official launch, you'll be able to change the aspect ratio like you usually can. So just wanted to get that out of the way in case I know a lot of people are going to be wondering why the gameplay looks so long and weird looking. But it is amazing, I will say, playing it on an ultra wide monitor. Even though recording the gameplay looks kind of weird, playing it in this style was absolutely amazing. So much fun. First thing is, within like the first 5 minutes of me playing, my immediate response was like, okay, I feel like I'm playing Diablo Immortal. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know what it is either. Like I couldn't put my finger on it exactly why I felt this way. But within the first 5 minutes, I was like, this feels like Diablo Immortal. So you could take that however you want, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I will say that it is definitely a huge improvement to Diablo 3. I think it's definitely by far way better than Diablo 3. The graphics, the play style, everything does feel more fine-tuned and better. I will say that it feels like we are definitely moving forward with this franchise, and it continues to improve every time we have a new Diablo game released. One of the biggest problems that I faced, and thousands if not millions of people have faced, is the fact that the game for the first day of beta was almost unplayable. The ridiculous amount of queue waits. I mean, people were waiting hours upon hours. My queue waits weren't too bad for day one. Some of them, I think the highest queue wait I had was like 45 to 50 minutes, but I've seen some people up to like hundreds of minutes it's showing. The other problem was that once you did get into a game, it was always like glitchy and it would randomly crash, and then it would send you out of the game, and then you'd just be back in the queue waiting another hour. So the first day has been an absolute travesty, absolute garbage can trash. And it's kind of disappointing because I feel like at this point we are in 2023, and this isn't the first time there's been a video game that has had server problems with ridiculously long queues. I mean, New World, when New World came out, that game was an absolute dumpster fire with the queue waits and everything. So you think that like these developers would kind of learn from other game developers' mistakes, but they don't. And that's what's like mind-boggling to me, is the fact that they still see that other people are having issues with this, so their number one priority should be server stability, getting people into the game and playing the beta. That's the whole point of it, is for people to play and test the beta. Forget the bugs and stuff, because it's a beta, so people are going to discover bugs, which is the whole point of it, so that they can be fixed. But the fact that you don't even have stable servers, so we can't even get in the game to play it properly, is kind of like, what is the point? You know, it's kind of like, all right, a lot of people specifically paid a lot of money, $70, $80, $90, just to get this early access beta, and they can't even play it. And we're talking about a big name brand too. I mean, this is Blizzard. This isn't some random Joe Schmo indie developer making this game. This is a very big brand name, and they still have awful servers and they can't get it down. I don't understand how server stability is not a number one concern when it comes to beta access for players. It just, like, how are we still at a point where we have people waiting in queues, but we have the most insane technology as of right now? We have cars that drive themselves. We're sending people to the moon and all kinds of space exploration. We have so much technology, but we can't get stable servers for video games. I mean, it doesn't make sense at all. At this point, it feels like it's just laziness. And the other thing that I've noticed is that a lot of times with these Video games nowadays have taken a huge turn, and it's not about making a great game. It's about more of, can you have the best marketing? Because I'll say this, marketing will always beat out whether your game is good or not. If you have the best marketing and the best commercials, and you are able to just get people drawn to your game to start throwing their wallets at it, doesn't really matter how good or bad your game is. Eventually people are going to figure out that it's a trash game and that there's a lot of problems. But the fact that you have really good marketing and you draw all that hype, it gets people to just start spending money. And it seems like that's kind of been the case so far with Diablo 4, is that there's a lot of marketing for it, a lot of hype around it, just trying to get people in. But there's still problems for the beta of the simple fact that people can't even play it. And that's the whole point, is we want to play the game. That's why it's a beta, for us to test it out. Overall, the other thing that I also experienced was the fact that the legendaries seemed to drop like crazy. Within a certain period, I had like 3 legendaries drop within 5-10 minutes. They were all from loot goblins, which was a lot of fun. I went ahead, I found 2 loot goblins. After I destroyed them, the one dropped 1 legendary, and then the second one I destroyed dropped 2 legendaries. So I kind of expect to get a legendary drop from a loot goblin. Graphically, the game is very well done. You can see tons of tiny little details. I was running on a 490 playing on my PC, had everything maxed out to the highest graphical settings, 240 hertz refresh rate, super duper smooth. My favorite part about the Diablo games though is the environment, because you just get to see all those tiny details while you're traveling around, and it's kind of like a background imagery of background environments. And when you're in the dungeons and you're in the different levels, and you can see like the underneath part of the level or like the distant part of the level, and just seeing different environmental changes really is amazing about this game. It gives you that real true ARPG feel to it. The other thing is, I played with a controller on PC, and I say this, the controller support is very well done. It felt amazing playing it on controller. For me personally, I thought it felt better using a controller than using mouse and keyboard. There's also so much to do in this game. Even with it just being beta, there's a decent amount of content. Once we do get that full release, there's going to be a ridiculous amount of stuff to do. So I don't see you really getting bored easily. There's just so much fun dungeons, and just there's a lot of depth to this game. And now that it is day 2 of this beta, it does seem like the queues have improved. I was actually able to play for like a solid hour and a half earlier, and I only had like a 1-minute queue. So it seems like they are at least improving with the queue times and the stability of the servers. But still though, I mean, this is stuff that should have at least been done on day 1, the first day of the beta. But hopefully things will continue to improve, especially with next week when everyone has access to the beta. That's probably what I'm most afraid of, is the fact that a lot of people playing now had to somehow pre-order the game or buy that chicken combo thing to get a code. But next week, it's just open to everyone. Anyone, even your grandmom, can go ahead and play the game. So I'm a little bit worried that server stability is going to be an absolute joke next week. We'll have to see what happens. Stay happy, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.